Chapter 11. Why am I here? Archie gave a bow and started on his journey to the lower peak. As he did so, he noticed a glint of light on the lower vantage point. He headed towards the light. "Archie, where have you been?" said a voice in the distance. "I have been looking for ages for you. Come, let us take the hidden valley." The way was easier, but the night was closing in. The moon, now showing, made it a treacherous climb down the hill but short into a flat then rocky path. Archie pulled out a torch and then kept well clear of some deep gullies. He started to come to the center where a dead tree stood projecting its arms like it was reaching to the gods. He notices one of the fairies he had seen hide behind. Down a rocky and sandy path he carefully trod until he reached a small pool and a small waterfall. Again, he saw a fairy go somewhere behind the water, trickling over a rock into a small pool. "Bill, wait here, I have something I have to do," said Archie. "But Archie," Bill replied. "Trust me, Bill, I'll be back shortly. Rest for a little by that tree." "Okay, but just a little while." Behind the water he sensed an opening and then he prodded with a stick to see what was behind. Indeed, it was vacant and large enough to crawl through. He donned his rain jacket and his waterproof trousers and said to himself, "Nothing ventured, nothing gained." He felt a slight trickle of freezing cold water somehow penetrate his protective barrier coating, then he let go of the fear and released a run of adrenaline, forcing himself farther up the cavern. Inside there must have been a barrier impervious to water above, as the cavern facing downward was free of water and widening and gradually descending downward. The cavern walls lined with cut stone, and it widened out into a tall cavern, its roof spiraling upward with scared walls making patterns only a god could make. Lit only by the light coming through the opening through the water. Boulders lined the floor as if over the years they had become dislodged through the earth's quakes. Small, rounded domes sat on the floors where drips had made their way through the roof, depositing minerals and forming holes at their center. The ceilings were arrayed with teeth formed from the same dripping. Eerie pools also formed in the floors, staggered and flowing toward small furrows carrying water. Further down the cave the walls glowed blue, from an unknown source, with fingers reaching up from the ground eerily. The walls looked as though they were breathing with gills formed of the same calcite. He was curious how this cavern had not been documented, but I guess there was no shortage of rain and snow at the top of the mountains, and the frequency of travelers must have reduced the possibility too. He called out, "Father, I think you were right," and listened to the chorus reverberate around him. Up above, light filled the cave through a curiously large white quartz crystal stone in the ceiling above, diffusing around a magical white crystal-filled cave with 12 stones sitting in a circle, and in the center was a large stone box. Just as he approached, he heard a voice call to him and a dark apparition appeared in front of him with dark red eyes. He seemed to resemble the man who had dropped off the letter to him earlier on his quest. "Take it, it is the key to great power, beyond your mortal understanding. With it you can rule this nation and win the heart of anyone you desire. People will look upon your glory and tremble. They will have to love you. With it you can rule the world." Then another voice dismissed and appeared, a woman in white clothed as a princess, and in bright glory she stared and looked right through Archie's heart. "Is that what you want? To rule in fear? Or do you want to earn that respect? Touch the heart of the nation and live by the knightly code? Why do you desire the key? Who are you really? Why are you here?" Archie thought of the last few days. Why was he here? He wanted to know who he was, what his path was, and why he had been chosen. He wanted answers. That's it, he wanted the key to knowledge, not power. "I'm here to discover who I am, why Clan MacDonald sent me to this place, and what I must do to get this knowledge and to please my father and to bring my family peace and justice and for the girl I love. Is this a test? What must I do to obtain this knowledge?" The white figure smiled and dismissed the dark. "You have passed, your quest for knowledge has opened the lid, and the one who desires power first is the dangerous seeker." The white woman continued to observe though. The stone chest was covered in dust, but when he tried to blow it away it stuck fast. He tried to move the lid, but it would not move. He looked at the woman in white who said it could be moved and that it was as light as a feather. She then smiled and departed. Archie pulled out the quill from his bag, and as he moved it across the stone lid the dust flew away and he saw the detail of the lid that was ornately carved with knights, kelpies, fairies, and other mystical figures, and a key carved in the center but with the handle and shaft of a sword. There was a hole in the middle about the same diameter as the quill. He placed the non-flight end into the hole and there was a release of air and a clicking sound. Archie moved slowly over to the stone chest and slid of the lid removed the quill. It clattered to the ground with a great thud in the sand that lay around the chest. Inside, Archie looked at 3 stones surrounding a large carved stone. To the side was a great sword with the words, "Sil, person or thing that is the source of hope." Archie gripped the handle and the word glowed. He felt a rush of energy touch every cell of his body. He lowered the sword and touched the great stone. A great light filled his vision and transported him to a new place he had never been. A waterfall deeper in the mountains, magical and as beautiful as any he had seen. Then the vision ended. He felt joy and hope. He placed the other stones in his backpack and moved towards the entrance of the cave. Just then 2 figures appeared in the background. Archie said the man he recognized from the journey up the mountains said, "We will take that," as he raised his hand with a Heckler & Koch VP9 handgun to the square. The other figure, the woman companion, looked uneasy and then raised her gun also. Just then a dark figure appeared behind them. Eyes glowing red, the man didn't understand the change in Archie's body language. He said, "Don't move and throw me the sword." Archie looked at the dark spirit who was waiting for some sort of a cue from Archie. Archie lowered the sword and put up his thumb, so as to say yes, okay. At which point the dark spirit smiled a wicked smile and entered the man, writhing him in convulsions and making him drop the gun. The woman dropped the gun also at this point, having only noticed the spirit at the point of attack as he had come from behind them both. She screamed and ran towards the door. The man fell dead, or paralyzed, his eyes wide open. At that moment, Bill advanced into the cave. Archie signaled no to the spirit, and he retreated with a disappointed look. Archie rushed towards Bill, his fingers touching the stone again. He made his way out of the cavern. He raised his voice and said, "I'm ready for the girls' beera." "What do you mean, Archie?" Bill queried.